Hi. Welcome
Welcome.
back.
Hello.
Jewelry This Way Live.
Every week at
Every
Wednesday.
week. You know it.
hmm
I'm Brian.
I'm Drew.
We're here.
We're Jewelry This Way.
Hell yeah, we are.
Yeah.
So you're probably asking, like, why are you
What's
guys on
going
my
on?
screen? Well, we're with Jewelry This Way. We make body jewelry. We also name all of our jewelry after sweet 80s movies and sometimes not so sweet 80s movies, to be honest.
Depends on how you view them.
Yeah, but every week we come on here just to talk shit about movies, basically. Give a little review on them, tell you what they're about, and
let you know if we like them, if we don't like them.
yeah,
I mean,
that
they've been
time
out.
to watch it.
Usually they've been out for about 40 years. So
least,
likely
yeah.
you've seen it and you can tell us what you think about it.
Although, like, I've been around for that long, and there's so many of these I have never seen before. Some of them I haven't even heard of before. So
we have to dig through the depths of movie titles to find names. Now that our like collections are so large.
Yes, yeah.
But that means that there's a bunch of movies we've never seen. So, it works out.
Yeah. Like this week's movie that we're talking about.
Oh my goodness.
I'd never heard of it before. I don't know how this one skipped my radar as a child, but it did. So it's cool
I haven't
that we're
seen
gonna
this
see it.
one since I was a child. And I think I only watched it like once. Super
Super
quiet.
really.
We're just whispering at you today. A little
That's wild.
ASMR.
Maybe that's it. How about that? How about that?
You hear
that
me
should probably
now?
work better. Anyhow, we live for live. Yeah, we do. That was hard to read in my brain. Don't too many puns.
I know. We live for live is what I kept reading. And I was like, I know that's not right.
Yeah. So anyhow, we made some really cool new displays. They're called the boombox displays.
What?
And if you're familiar with the mixtape displays, which are our big guys here, like these, that are also spill proof, that jewelry's not going to come out there. Not everybody needs such a giant display. So we made some smaller little guys, kind of like what a lot of people have in their display cases already. But instead of being cardboard and faux leather, these are nice solid plastic. They're going to hold up forever. They grip a little threadless end super tight. You're not going to spill them anywhere. You can hand them to customers. You can hand them to apprentices. You can hand them to counter kids. You can hand them to your boss. And he can still flip it over. Or she can flip it over and still
it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's great.
It's the best.
I love these.
And they're so cute. And we have them in black and white right now, but we can do all kinds of colors.
There's 3 different sizes. They start at $10 or something? They're cheap.
They started like $9.99.
Yeah, I'm selling them for way less than I probably should, but I just want to make sure your guys' cases look great. So
you can stack them. They're layered. They're so cute. I love these.
They're awesome.
They've been photographing perfectly. I've been loving it.
Gonna love that. Yeah, that nice little textured background on there too. It kind of hides any empty gaps. So if you don't have the display full, it's still gonna look nice. Your customer's not gonna be like, oh, look at this display that's half full.
And they hold 26, 20, or 4 ends.
Yeah.
Which I love the little mini with the 4s. It's
so
just
cute.
an incredibly great price point. But then you can put 2 sets, so double nostrils, first and second lobes.
Yep, that was the goal.
Really easy styling
just
situation.
Curate a little thing that just makes it super easy. That's what your customers want anyway. What else did we do? We did some casting today, as usual. But
new stuff coming soon.
New stuff. Every time we run the casting machine, we make new stuff.
We just have to. We got to take advantage of it.
I mean, there's too many ideas and too little time.
So many options for jewelry, and we want to make all of them.
That we do. Trying to think if I should give you guys any teasers about what we made today. We've got some new little gem cluster collections coming. One that I'm excited about.
Cute.
It's 3 different gem shapes all in one piece, and I think they're going to look really, really cool. I'm actually going to go set the gems on those after we get off this live. So,
that's going to be fun. I can't wait to get some video of that.
Those will be really neat.
We did some website work.
So much website work,
Yes,
right?
Aaron, super awesome. He got some.
Shout out, Aaron.
Got some really awesome stuff going on the website. We now have a wish list feature.
Yes, we do.
So when things are sold out and you want them still, you can put them in your wish list, and then we know that you want them and we can restock them faster. Because we do make everything pretty much to order, but we try to keep everything stocked. So sometimes...
to the best of our abilities.
Yeah, sometimes things do run out of stock, but we want to know when you want it so that we can make it and you can have it.
Yep.
That's the goal.
Yep. Put that cart together, have a nice wish list going. You can also, I'm assuming you can probably share that wish list with somebody at some point too. I don't really know all the functionality of it yet. Aaron's in charge of that. He'll fill me in later. He'll probably be like, that's not what this does. But either way, you can click the heart on stuff. You can save things. It's fun. It's cool. Collect them all, That's all I got. There's some logos above us. You see YouTube, you see Spotify. That's where you can find this live stream, except not right now.
'Cause
only
it's
find it on
live right now.
Instagram, right? But we will simulcast this and post it up for good over on Spotify and YouTube after this. So go check out our channels, follow, subscribe, click the bell, all that good stuff, and watch some of our past reviews. So we are in our 3rd season right now, which is fucking crazy.
It's really crazy to think about. We've done a significant amount of these.
Yes, we have 10 per season. So we're working on the 30s, or up to 30.
We're in the 30s right now.
Yeah, I guess we are, aren't we? Anyhow,
crazy to think about.
Yeah. There's always so much going on.
There's a lot of movies we've done. There's a lot more movies to come. We've got so many things to watch. So if you want to have any influence on what we watch every week, you can always ask to be a guest. You can email or DM us, let us know what you want to do, and we'll get you on the schedule. It's super easy, but you get to pick the movie, and we have no say. We just have to watch and do what you say. It's awesome.
It's true. You really do. We put out a cool little video this week about our displays, and it seems like everybody's really been enjoying this video, which is great news for me because I really enjoy making these silly ass videos. And, I appreciate the positive feedback and the reinforcement that I should keep doing it. So, because it amuses me and I'm glad it amuses you.
We're glad you got a giggle out of it.
Yeah, I sure did making it.
We were giggling making it. It's perfect.
But we're going to show you this little clip and we'll be right back.
Hello, piercing customers. Would you like to see some jewelry?
Oh my god, yes I do.
Okay, please just don't flip the display upside down.
Stop crawling around on the ground looking for dropped jewelry.
And try the new mixtape display from Jewelry This Way. They're spill proof.
Available now on the World Wide Web.
I mean, it had to be a nice violent shake. Like I am really trying to get the point across that these are spill proof.
You can take this same display full of jewelry and you can just shake the hell out of it and the jewelry goes nowhere. It's so cool.
Well, actually, Drew, I want you to shake that the entire time that we're doing this movie review today, okay? Just to prove a point.
Okay, what an arm workout you've got me about to do. I know how long this review is. So, yeah, it's nowhere. Every single end is still in there. It's amazing.
True. Well, your arm's going to be really tired and everyone else is going to be confused because we have a guest for this week and this one's pre-recorded. So you're just going to have to pretend that Drew's been sitting here and
here's the thing. Just know that right? I am my arm already hurts. So.
Yeah.
It's happening.
I don't know if you guys have noticed that this week's live stream is being brought to you from the night market. And it's a magical event. And we had to find something magical to attend because this week's movie is pretty magical.
It's incredibly magical looking.
This background really has nothing to do with this movie.
Nothing at all, but we wanted the vibe to match.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
You'll understand momentarily.
You will. Let's just get into this.
Yeah, let's go.
One of them is old, the other is not. Let's pop in the tape and give it a shot. It's time for Retro Reactions with Drew and Bryan.
All right, welcome back, everybody. And today we are reviewing The Last Unicorn.
The Last Unicorn.
I'm very excited for this one. It released in 1982, and we have a guest today.
We sure do.
Joining us today is Kate. Kate, tell us a little about yourself.
Hi, I'm a body piercer. I work here in Texas, in Arlington, Texas, at Urban's Tattoo and Piercing South. Been here for a couple years. Started here, which is crazy because now I'm back, but it's good. It's hot, but it's good.
Fair.
Excellent.
We've been going through a lot of rain and heat, so it's just been muggy outside in Tennessee for us. Oof. But this movie, The Last Unicorn, it kind of gets described as a childhood fantasy classic, but it's much darker and sadder than the overall vibe would suggest. I mean, it has unicorns, it has wizards, it has princes, it has all kinds of talking animals, but we're mostly talking about loneliness, mortality, regret, and obsession, and especially what happens when something really beautiful disappears from the world as an overall vibe for the movie.
Yeah.
Which is not as pleasant sounding as a happy little unicorn movie would make it.
No, the title makes it sound like it's going to be a cartoon about some magical horse. And then the story immediately starts discussing extinction, imprisonment. There's a king incapable of happiness, an immortal creature having an identity crisis. This is way less My Little Pony and more existential dread with a horn.
Which as for like seeing it like in the past, I saw it when I was a little kid, and I remember loving it. And I'm watching it as an adult, and I'm like, I don't know how I found this to be so like happy. Like, Kate, did you watch this growing up? Did you see this as a kid?
I did. Yeah, I watched it as a kid and I kind of had the same experience where I was like, "Oh, this is just a really pretty,
Right.
good music. Like it's just a nice movie." And then as an adult, it definitely hit so many more like emotions it did when I was a kid.
It's such an
'Cause yeah,
interesting movie for that.
Hi, Kitty.
yeah. The mortality conversation I feel like is like a big thing in the movie and just like everything makes you think about that. And so I think it's really cool how it was like, oh, it's an immortal creature that is dealing with mortality now and how do they cope with that?
Absolutely.
What we cope with every day.
Right.
You know?
So our story kind of begins in this enchanted forest. Now, I will say, I feel like the opening for this movie is slower, on the slow side. However, I think it's really unique. So we have this enchanted forest where this unicorn lives untouched by time, essentially. And two hunters enter, but cannot clearly recognize her. Most humans no longer see unicorns for what they are. Before leaving, one hunter warns that she might just be the last of her kind. And the movie introduces the unicorn as something ancient rather than cute. She's really calm, very proud. She's absolutely gorgeous, if you've ever seen her. And the forest stays green because she lives there. Some really interesting ideas about aging and all of that.
Yeah. I think it also suggests that magic might not have vanished.
Like it's locked away.
Yeah, people have simply lost the ability to recognize it. Someone can look directly at the unicorn and they can only see a white horse, and that's more interesting than saying magical creatures simply went extinct.
That's fair. The warning kind of introduces something new, which is uncertainty. She's immortal, so she almost responds kind of clinically. She needs to learn whether she is truly the last unicorn or not. And I think the emotional distance matters a little more later on because the story is about her learning feelings that she was just never meant to carry. Kate, did you think that her calmness kind of made her seem wise or cold? I've kind of fallen in the middle. Like she's incredibly wise, but she seems emotionally distant.
I think she's wise. I think for me personally, I thought it spoke more to her innocence because she just lives by herself in this wood. She is the protector of this area and she feels like she is kind of in charge of the animals there. And so she watches them and enjoys their lives and is like, this is interesting. It never gets old for her because it's things that she doesn't experience. And so I think for me, it more was like, oh, she's so innocent.
I like that. I didn't consider the innocence aspect.
Deal with.
Yeah, neither did I. I like that take.
Yeah. So our unicorn goes on to meet a butterfly who kind of speaks in almost like riddles, kind of like poems, if anything. And hidden inside of his kind of nonsensical seeming talking is a lot of information. And the unicorns were driven away by this other creature, the Red Bull. The butterfly is kind of a strange way to deliver information, but I will say he did speak the way I would expect a butterfly to speak, which is cryptic as can be.
Yes, absolutely.
A lot of riddles.
Right? I mean, he knows everything, but he just cannot seem to say it point blank. And the unicorn has to listen to like the hard truth behind all of it.
Yeah. He's basically somebody who learned to communicate entirely through commercials and lyrics and things that he read online.
Oh, yeah.
Which hits way hard at home. In the middle of all that nonsense, though, he gives her the clue that changes her life, right? Yeah.
I think he's also supposed to...
Yeah.
What's that?
Like what happened and what he had heard happened to the other unicorns, that the Red Bull, and it was like one sentence, and as soon as he recognizes her first and she gets really excited about it because nobody else had recognized her yet on her journey, and so she gets really excited and then he goes back to the riddles and like for a moment you're like, this is so frustrating, like watching this.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he knows.
I was watching it and I was like, what is he saying? What is he trying to tell her? Like, just say it. But he kind of, I think he kind of represents memory in general. So it's a little foggy, it's a little hazy, but the point is there. This ridiculous little creature has preserved enough of the old stories to point the unicorn in the right direction. That kind of moves us into Mommy Fortuna.
And her midnight carnival.
Oh my goodness, she's such an interesting little character. So the unicorn ends up being captured by this like little evil witch lady who displays ordinary animals as mythical creatures using illusions. And this is our first little hint at some of the magic. And the unicorn is imprisoned next to a very dangerous harpy, and they're both genuine magical beings in this carnival. Mommy Fortuna is really interesting because she recognizes the unicorn immediately, whereas most of humans see a horse. And since she sees her exactly what she is, she does what she does best, and she puts her in a cage and starts charging ad.
God, humans are terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole carnival is interesting too because if I remember correctly, I didn't get to rewatch the movie right before this, but I watched it like 3 weeks ago. If I remember correctly, in the movie, Mommy Fortuna isn't a part of the carnival. Like she runs it, she captures everything, she has the magic behind it. In the book, she has like a part in the carnival, and it is supposed to be basically the passage of time. And so when the people see her, they're like super freaked out. And even the unicorn, when she first sees her, is like it like is unveiled, and she feels almost like a glimpse of mortality. Be like you feel and experience time passing and you aging, because I think it was old age is exactly what they explained it as. And I thought that was really interesting because that was just completely left out, and it was probably one of the most like it gave me like goosebumps like listening to this or reading about this immortal being like fearing old age even though she knew it was just another illusion.
Interesting.
That's a really good
Yeah.
point because
Yeah.
it ties back into the overall message being like immortality versus mortality with the unicorn.
Yeah.
I also think there's this underlying like animal exploitation thing going on here too.
Oh, 100%.
You know, so I mean, like the rest of the carnival is totally fake. But customers, I mean, just like real life, customers don't care whether the magic's real. We just want to feel like we saw something magical. So
Yeah.
like, you know, if you're like, oh, I saw a 2-headed horse and really one of them was a mask, we don't care. Like we're just
It's like
excited we
going
saw
to the
something
zoo.
cool.
You feel like
Yeah.
you saw them in their habitat, but that's not their habitat.
Yeah, I mean, I think going to the circus or the carnival, you kind of know you're going to get bamboozled a little bit,
That's the
but
whole
that's half the
point.
fun, right?
Yeah.
So, but this actual unicorn is just standing there in front of them, but they still need that lady to add a fake horn and all these sparkling effects before they can believe it.
Yeah. And it's interesting too because it's that they want to believe, and I also think it sets up the world building a little bit because I think that's the first time we see like magic in the world that's not the unicorn. So it's like cool, we are in a world, in a universe that there is magic still, you know, and people accept that even if it is just illusions. It's some sort of magic going on.
It's a little something happening. I found it as kind of a sharper criticism on how people consume like wonder and just like genuine amazement. The real thing is too subtle, so Fortuna kind of packaged it into something more obvious and marketable. She also knows the harpy will eventually kill her, but she keeps it anyways because she wants it to be remembered as the witch powerful enough to imprison it. So I found that to be really interesting just in terms of how Fortuna decided to go about all of this in the movie.
Yeah.
After we leave this area, the unicorn meets Schmendrick, an inexperienced
Best name
magician. It's a great name.
Hendrik Schmendrick.
Hendrik Schmendrick. So Schmendrick kind of just wanders into Mommy Fortuna and the unicorn talking, and he agrees to free the unicorn, although his magic is unreliable and kind of seemingly out of control, or maybe it's controlling him. But Schmendrick is not brilliant. He's pretty bad at genuine magic, and he has some knowledge, but almost no control over what happens. So he has an idea of what he wants to happen, but he can't make the magic work for him.
Yeah, it kind of flows through him more than him producing
It's a good
it
conduit.
throughout the
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
I feel like Spendrick, he's spent a long time knowing what he wants to become, but without being able to actually become it. Again, this hits home, right?
Yeah.
He's funny, but there's like
And
this
it's-
embarrassment and sadness underneath it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, an interesting thing about Schmendrick, again, I know this is movie stuff, but in the book, they gave so much more backstory about Schmendrick.
See, I
Like
wanted
they
more in
talked
the
about
movie.
his mentor. Yeah, so much more backstory about him is what I'll say. And it's really cool and kind of sad knowing more about him and why he is trying so hard to be such a good magician, you know.
Oh,
Interesting.
poor little Schmendrick.
I like all these book facts coming through.
I do too. I'm really glad you're bringing the book facts.
Yeah.
I've been
Yeah,
so
it's really neat.
curious.
Yeah.
You mentioned it while we were
It's
like getting this all set up, and I was like, I can't wait to hear about the book.
I wish Forrest Gump came out in the 80s so we could review that, because that's another, like, the book is so crazy and has so much other stuff in it.
I've heard that it's super different
It's
from the movie.
so different.
Movies just
I
have
wanna
to
see
cut
him-
out so much.
Like, I want to see him remake that movie, but in the book form, because it'd be a completely different movie, equally as good. but,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. What do you think about this unicorn?
The unicorn does seem to unlock some of Schmendrick's powers. She needs him because he understands the human world. He needs her because being near her brings him closer to being the magician he wants to be. And then we get into dealing with the harpy. Schmendrick is kind of trying to get the unicorn out of everything, but before leaving, the unicorn ends up freeing the harpy, despite Schmendrick's warnings that the harpy is going to kill Mommy Fortuna. And of course, the second it's free, the harpy does immediately that. It attacks Fortuna while the unicorn and Schmendrick continue their journey. And this is kind of where we see that the unicorn's morality is not human morality. She knows Fortuna is going to die, and she releases the harpy anyway because she believes no immortal creature should be imprisoned. So she kind of made her decision regardless.
Yeah.
And even with the harpy telling her, like, oh, yeah, if you release me, I will kill you. You know, like, even with that, she still released the harpy, which I feel like just speaks to her nature as well. Like you were saying, if she doesn't want to see anything enclosed like that.
She doesn't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, and she doesn't treat the death as revenge. Like, it's simply just the consequence of trying to own something that can't belong to her. Understanding the unicorn doesn't always mean finding her comforting, I guess.
She can be a scary unicorn.
Yeah.
Kate, did you see Mommy Fortuna as like a straightforward villain or more of like a tragic and desperate need to feel important? I kind of feel like she wasn't actually a villain. I feel like she was just doing a job almost and had consequences because of it.
Yeah, I think she was trying to prove herself to other witches, like, because she did say the line of, like, no other witch holds a harpy, you know, and so she knew it was going to kill her, but it was worth it to her to have that, like, act that she did and to have the ability to do that. And so I think that she had a lot more power that she could have used for better purposes, but that was just the route she decided to take because it's probably what was easy at some point in her life, and then that's just what she was doing. So I think a little bit of both, you know. I think she had a little bit of villainous tendencies, but I think she was just trying to be the best she could be at what she was doing, you know.
I think a lot of people hide under that, guys.
Like
To
I'm
be
a
honest.
bad guy, but it's because
Yeah.
I'm doing what I
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that do things in the name of business, and are just villains. And they're like, but this is just how it has to
Yeah.
get done. And like, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, she could have used her powers for so many other
Right?
things, you
Yeah.
know, and didn't. So that's, in my opinion, like, that's still not a great moral choice that she made, but she was seemingly relatively good at it, you know, at making the illusions. And she did hold a harpy and a unicorn, which is pretty powerful magic.
True.
So she proved herself in the end before she died, I guess.
She checked her boxes.
Yeah, that's why she was like okay with dying, you know, because she had like
Yes.
arms spread. She was welcoming it. And I thought the scene with the harpy and the unicorn almost like fighting and going at each other was kind of odd because it's like the harpy could have done it, you know,
yeah.
and I think maybe the harpy just wanted the unicorn to know like, oh yeah, I could kill you. But when I was reading the book, it sounded more like at first that, and then almost like they were dancing for a minute before the harpy swooped and got Mommy Fortuna, where they were like, cool, we're one and the same, just on different ends of the spectrum. And I thought that was kind of interesting too. I don't know what I think about it or what I feel about it, but I think it's interesting.
That's fair. I felt like it was such a strange, like 180. When you're watching the scene, it seems almost like imminent that the harpy and the unicorn are going to battle in some way, and then they just kind of make eye contact and then they go their separate ways. It's like when you watch like street cats like almost get into a fight and then they decide not to, and you're like, what changed? Who said sorry?
Yeah.
But it was a really interesting moment. Like you could tell the harpy had a lot more feelings towards Fortuna than the unicorn, which I think is probably fair given the situation.
Yeah.
After we get through this entire crazy carnival running away situation, Schmendrick is captured by Captain Coley. An incompetent outlaw obsessed with legendary folk hero, and he is working on escaping when he meets Molly Grew, who instantly recognizes the unicorn and reacts with kind of some anger rather than joy. Captain Coley is another character who is obsessed with how history remembers him. He wants songs written about him, even though no one's heard of him. And he keeps explaining this legend because legend does not actually exist. I feel like he's a lot of talk. He's a big talker.
He's just like writing his own legacy.
So
instead
maybe
of
if I
doing
just
it.
make enough stories up about me, someone will stick.
And then Schmendrick accidentally creates an image of Robin Hood, and Coley's followers, like, they immediately abandon him to chase the more famous outlaw. And that's brutal. You know, he spends his life trying to become a legend, and then the moment a real legend appears, even an illusion one, everyone's just like, nah, fuck you. And just goes off. It's weird.
Yeah, it was a good illusion. And I think in both the movie and book, they were like, in case it is real, we don't want to risk losing this opportunity. And then eventually they all like trudge back to camp because they're like, it wasn't real, you know, like we're going back to what we can. What I thought was really interesting is, of course, in the book, there's going to be so much more world building. And so before they meet Captain Coley, they go through this whole adventure of like different towns and stuff like that. And then they end up meeting Captain Coley in a town, where Coley is like basically doing the opposite of what Robin Hood does or did, where he robs from the poor to give to the rich of this town. And it's at that point that Schmendrick does something to try to like, you know, irritate him and like get his hat back because they had taken his hat. And so that's when they snatch up Schmendrick and take off with him. But I thought that was really cool, like just seeing more of the world building of like, it's just a little like progression of them going through all these different
Going on
things
like their
and
actual
towns and
journey.
stuff.
Yeah, that is neat.
Yeah,
I would have enjoyed that.
and Coley still has a lot of songs.
Man.
Amazing.
There's so many songs.
And after we see Coley and they kind of run off after this faux Robin Hood, they start to kind of move on, and we see Molly McGrew kind of come out of nowhere. And I think her reaction to the unicorn is one of the most emotional scenes. She seems to have dreamed of like finding a unicorn for forever. And now she's older, she's a bit more bitter, and suddenly there's a unicorn in front of her, and she's kind of pissed. She's waited all this time, and now there's a unicorn suddenly. I don't know why. She just seemed so heartbroken and upset, but still so excited.
Yeah.
You could kind of see every emotion all at once going through her.
See, I don't think she was angry.
It was definitely an emotional scene, you know, because she was like, you come to me now, not when I was new, you know, not years ago. And I feel like the voice acting in that moment, I think personally was really good. I saw some debate like online while I was just like reading other people's perspectives of the movie in preparation for this, where some people didn't like the voice acting. And I'm like, I feel like there's so many really emotional scenes. And that was one of the biggest scenes, you know, because it's like, she was like, of course, the last unicorn would be the one that would come to Molly Grew, you know, talking about herself in the third person. And it was definitely really emotional because she was like, I've wasted all these years of my life. And now I finally see a unicorn, and I'm, like you said, I'm bitter and older, and
This is the last
all these
one.
years.
Like,
But then she does
so it was really sad.
Then she does that manipulation-y stuff where like she's angry at the unicorn, but she's not really angry at the unicorn. She's angry at time.
yeah, she's
You know,
upset with the
just-
situation.
Yeah, she's just directing it in a poor manner. She wanted proof of magic when she was young enough for it to like change her life, and now the arrival feels like almost cruel to her. So she's like, "Damn you, unicorn! It's your fault."
I will say, I think it hit a little differently as an adult than as a kid. Like, as a kid, I was like, oh, she's excited about the unicorn. And as an adult, I'm like, man, I kind of get it. If I was like, I don't know, in my 70s and a unicorn popped out and was like, I'm the last one, you got to help me. I'd be like, really? Really? I'm old now, man. My back hurts. I can't help you.
You'd be so excited to meet a unicorn.
I'd be jumping up and down. I'd probably break something. Did you think this hit a little differently as like an adult versus like being younger?
Oh, 100%. Because like you mentioned, like I think the entire idea behind the movie and like concept, in my opinion, is like a lot of mortality talk. And so I think that's one of it. And also just like reading other people's perspectives on that scene in particular, actually seems like one of the most impactful scenes there is for a lot of people, where people are literally using it in their day-to-day lives of like, oh yeah, I rewatch this movie every few years because I need to remember to keep that like spark alive, like my unicorn, whatever it is, whether it's the little things in life or their relationship with their kids, whatever, and just remembering not to lose sight of that, because then what's the purpose, like you want to find the beauty in life whenever you can, and it's really easy to forget that, as you go so many years without seeing a unicorn, you just forget that they exist like people did in this
Mhm.
world. So I think it's really cool, and I would say it's, for the general populace, seems to be one of the more impactful scenes because of how strongly people feel about mortality and aging, and just the day-to-day and mundane in life.
I like that. I didn't think of it like that, but I like that a lot. I will say the voice acting in that was good. She hit that full range
Yeah,
of emotions
she did.
in that scene.
Yeah.
So after we go through this upsettingness of Molly McGrew, she's upset, but she's gonna come along for the ride. Molly never once lets you think that she's not hanging around. We decide to go traveling, Molly, Schmendrick, and the unicorn, and we go to King Haggard's castle. The travelers arrive at this like really barren kingdom. It looked like mostly rock in the movie, and it's the kingdom of King Haggard. Yeah, the land's a little lifeless. His castle is collapsing into the sea. He lives there with his adopted son, Prince Lear. And the environment, I think, tells us everything to know about Haggard. Nothing grows around him. The kingdom's empty. The castle is empty and falling apart. This is just kind of what it's like being around someone who sucks the joy out of everything.
Yeah. Did you look at me when you said that?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Yeah, all the people are not happy in his kingdom for sure.
Yeah. Haggard sounds like exhausted by existence.
He is.
Like he's got this power and he's discovered that the power does nothing for him. And I think this applies to real life. I'm not going to go ahead and like name names, but maybe somebody who like is in charge of America. I don't know. It's just much more unsettling than a villain simply trying to conquer the world, right?
A little bit, yeah. They're just evil for the
He's
fun
just
of it.
taking things and trying things just to try to make himself happy, because he's just trying to band-aid whatever it is that
Yeah.
makes him not happy in life or makes him feel not content. And so it's just over and over again. He gives the vibe of like, he just tries something, it doesn't make him happy, or it stops making him happy, and he just throws it out.
And he really does. So in seeing Haggard, we end up also seeing that he has the Red Bull. And it kind of appears and begins driving the unicorn towards the sea, just as it did with some of the others. Overwhelmed by fear, she can't exactly resist. And to save her, Schmendrick uses some of his magic, not exactly knowing what he's doing, and transforms her into a lady. And now we have a lady unicorn, Lady Amalthea. I feel like I'm going to butcher her name. It's Amalthea, right?
That's how I pronounce it. in my
Okay.
head.
So
We'll let it ride.
yeah, the Red Bull is really frightening because it doesn't have dialogue at all. Like this bull has no dialogue, no detailed explanation. It is just pure force, pure anger. And the unicorn has never exactly experienced danger, but in front of the bull, she is blatantly helpless.
So helpless, yeah.
Like it's just a giant fiery bull.
Uh-huh. And not only does it overpower the unicorns physically, like it controls them. Like it makes them scared. It controls them through fear. And they run exactly where it wants them to run. And that transformation works because the bull's hunting the unicorn. And then all of a sudden, like, oh shit, where'd the unicorn go? So.
Yeah, he's like driving them or driving her towards the sea like he did all the others. And I do think the beer, or the bowl symbolizes a lot of fear, I'm sure that there's so much more that could become from it, but that's the strongest feeling I get, is just the fear and like helplessness that you feel when you are that scared of something. Because even in like the book, they described it very similar to how it looks, but that it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. That when she first saw it, it didn't seem that big. And then at some point she couldn't tell where it began and where it
Just like
ended.
kind of
Because he just, yeah. And I was like, that's what fear feels like. Like when you feel completely scared of something, like that's what it is. And so it was definitely really scary, like the whole scene,
Yeah.
especially I feel like as a kid, that was probably one of the scarier scenes. But it was yeah, scary.
It was
It's
very
the best
well
description.
animated too, because they kind of
Yeah.
put the perspective into it as well. So like he was not the entire frame, and then by the end of it, he was full frame each shot for the bull with like just this tiny little unicorn in the corner.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Schmendrick does what he does best, and he does some questionable magic, and he puts her into the condition that she fears the absolute most, which is immortal. And this is like the second most emotional scene, but it's that audio line that I'm sure everyone's heard at least once of like, I can feel my body dying around me. She can feel time for the first time. She can feel just the utter decay of mortality. And that is truly horrifying for a creature who was completely immortal 5 seconds ago.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, for me personally, I always felt like that was the most impactful scene just because that is how everybody feels all the time. We just don't notice it because we don't know anything different, like we don't have another perspective other than mortality. And so like just her, I think it was a lot of the voice acting too, but like that one line, I was like, it makes me cry every single
yeah.
time I watch that
She
movie. Every single time.
hits that voice note perfectly to where it just registers in your body like this is like just gutting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she says like she'd rather die. Like she would have rather had Schmendrick kill her and all the unicorns be gone than her become mortal.
Just crazy.
Which is just
Yeah.
that's how much she doesn't want to be what we experience
Right.
every day.
So this part is where I really think that this is a lot like the movie 8 Mile.
It's another 8 Mile moment. It's another.
So hear me out, right? Both are about a pale main character getting one opportunity to face something terrifying while everybody else waits for them to perform. And then the unicorn's mother shows up and is like, I made spaghetti. Okay, maybe that didn't happen. But Lady Amalthea, she has one shot, one opportunity. And instead of mom's spaghetti, she just has hooves that she can't find.
I don't know what I felt like you were going to reference 8 Mile again because it happened last week, and I was really trying to figure it out beforehand. It's like, I just know you're going to bring it back up.
And I succeeded. It might become a regular thing. We don't know.
We're going to see how many movies connect back to 8 Mile.
All of them.
If you think about it long enough, yeah. 8 Mile is the standard. So after we go through this terribly emotionally gutting scene, Schmendrick introduces the transformed unicorn Lady Amalthea to King Haggard. And King Haggard suspects that she's not just some ordinary woman, while his son Prince Lear is immediately falling in love and decides to go on every heroic conquest he can think of. He's going to go slay dragons. He's going to go fight monsters. He's going to become a hero so he can win Amalthea's heart.
Yeah, flirting's hard.
It is. And this man is not good at speaking. He's just really good at fighting.
Yeah. You got to work in your
Just
strengths.
strong.
At first, Amalthea is, I don't know, clearly a unicorn speaking through a human body. She's distant. She's uncomfortable. She's confused. She's got this like crazy scar on her forehead. She's not exactly like human-esque in her behavior. But the longer she remains human, the more she loses her unicorn identity and starts to kind of embody this human identity completely.
Yeah. And Lear responds like a fairy tale prince. He's very stereotypical. He kills monsters. He brings her proof of his heroicism, I guess. Is that a word?
I mean, he walks in with
Heroism?
that
I don't know.
head of a dragon.
Yeah, and Amalthea doesn't have any idea why he keeps presenting her with all these dead creatures, but he's really treating love like a punch card, right? He's just like, I don't know, if I bring her enough heads, she's got to love me. So if you kill him enough, like I guess eventually,
Maybe
like
she'll
he'll validate my parking. Yeah, exactly.
Validate some parking at some point. God,
Because that's all he knows, it doesn't seem like Haggard has a lot of companionship in the castle, let alone kids that were Lear's age for him to hang out with or play with, or adult role models. Like, he probably grew up on fairy tale books, and so even though the world is set in like a fairy tale world, it's like I would imagine that is the standard, for young princes to meet, is to be a hero.
That's a good point.
said, I'm going to go on this dangerous mission, and if I come back, she'll marry me. And then he presents her with all these creatures' heads, and she just gets progressively more upset by it.
And that's when we find out that Prince Lear is actually a cat.
Just bringing all his
a
dead
gift for the
birds.
family.
Oh, God. So the relationship begins working only when he stops performing, I think. He does go speak to Molly, and he's like, why won't she love me? And Molly's like, why don't you just tell her you love her and stop bringing her heads of things? It's weird. And once he becomes vulnerable and speaks to her normally, she does start seeing him. I don't know. Crazy concept. But that's also when she begins forgetting that she's a unicorn. She kind of begins to forget herself completely. And the real danger is not only remaining physically human, but the fact that she's going to forget that she came there at all.
Which there are definitely, I think at first you see like moments of her slipping in and out of that. And then at a certain point, it's completely gone. Because even when Haggard confronts her at the top of the tower, and he's like, I know you're here to take these things from me. Look at them. They're there. You know, you're not going to get them. And she can't see them. Like, so even she, who was a unicorn, is a unicorn, can't see the unicorns, you know?
And it's so sad
that
to
was,
think of.
It is.
yeah, it's such a, like, fucking emotional movie.
It really is. They hit you in all your heartstrings just over and over. And we're not even at the end of it yet.
Yeah, this was a wild ride.
So Haggard confronts Amalthea and reveals that unicorns are the only thing that ever made him happy, which is a crazy concept for this guy. I don't know. Unable to preserve that feeling naturally, he used the Red Bull to drive every unicorn into the sea beneath his castle so that he alone could possess them. So, I mean, Haggard is more interesting than a villain collecting magical trophies. The unicorns are the only thing that have ever brought him joy because he doesn't understand love. So his obvious response is imprisonment.
Yeah.
Just keep them all for himself.
He confuses access with ownership. And I think this really plays into how Pokemon worked out as well. Like, you know, you can't just
Gotta catch 'em all.
You gotta catch them all. I gotta own all of them. So anyhow, one unicorn made him happy, like briefly. So he decides that he needs every single unicorn in the entire world and that no one else should ever be able to see them. And guess what? Doesn't fix him.
Crazy concept.
Shocking, right?
So
Yeah, I think like for a moment after he looks at them, he like feels a little bit better. He's a little bit brighter. Even the people around him are like, oh yeah, once in a while I do notice this in him. But it's like so fleeting. And he has literally almost all the unicorns in the world. And even that doesn't make him feel better. So obviously it's something a little bit more ingrained, you know, like whatever's causing his
he's got some
issues.
serious problems.
He needs to go to therapy. Yeah. And speaking of therapy, we actually have a nonprofit called the Heal This Way Foundation. Yeah,
Good way to slide that in.
We provide free therapy to body piercers. Yay. Okay.
So I think it was Christopher Lee who played Haggard. I might be getting the names mixed up, but I do know that the character or the actor, the voice actor for the character, cared very deeply about the novel specifically. There's some stuff online where he talks about it, and he considered Haggard to be one of his favorite roles. And I think you can kind of hear the seriousness of it in his performance. He never really treats Haggard like a disposable cartoon villain. And I do like the way that he like really leans into just like the fact that this man is emotionally a mess. I feel like you can hear it in his voice when he talks.
Yeah, especially when he does get more like angry or emotional or when he starts yelling. It's like, oh yeah, you can like hear him kind of coming undone a little
Hear
bit.
like the peak
And
of
this
it.
is like, yeah, and this is a fan theory that I read, so no basis at all to it, but it was really interesting about Haggard is that so in the book, there's a story about how this famous wizard turned a unicorn into a man. That man married a princess and they lived happily ever after. So there's this fan theory that realistically that man was Haggard and they did not live happily ever after. And that's why the unicorns are the only thing that can bring him this fleeting happiness because he was once one. He just doesn't remember.
I like that theory.
So, yeah, fan theory completely that I read on Reddit, but
That's where the
I
best
thought
ones
that was
are.
really interesting. Because other than like we don't really get much backstory on why he is the way he is, other than like he's old and he lives alone in this tower, you know. So I thought that was interesting.
No, I love that. That honestly, that makes a lot of sense for him and his character. Like a lot.
Right? That's what
That
I
changes
thought
my
too.
view on him. That makes me kind of sad for him. No.
Right? But it was just a theory I read on Reddit, so who knows? But like it really hit me, or I was like, I like that. That's kind of like my headcanon
Right.
now for King Haggard a little bit.
So we'll continue into it. So as Amalthea falls kind of in love with Lear, she does ask Smindrick to abandon the mission to allow her to remain human, even though the unicorns would kind of stay trapped forever. And I do think this is more of the central conflict, which happens much later in the movie. This movie has a very slow start, just as a fair warning for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. But the unicorn left her forest because she believed she had a responsibility to find the others. And now she understands human love and she kind of wants to abandon them a little bit.
Yeah. And it's not really selfishness.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to her as much anymore.
Yeah. As a unicorn, I mean, she could not understand why mortals valued temporary existences so intensely. But as Amalthea, like she knows her time with Lear, it'll end. So that makes that time way more valuable to her and not less.
Yeah, and that's not something you can understand as an immortal
Right.
being, I kind of thought too, it kind of speaks not only that whole concept with Amalthea, but also like Schmendrick's kind of jealousy at some points, just kind of like, and King Haggard as a whole, like the selfishness that is kind of ingrained in all of us a little bit as human beings, because there's survival, there's, wanting to have love and have feelings and have something special and leave our mark on the world. And I feel like that's a pretty human trait to have. And so when she starts feeling that way, it's like, oh yeah, she is really a human now. Like she's not just a unicorn in a human body. Like she has so many human traits and is turning into one. Even that scene, it was right after Haggard confronted her where Schmendrick was like, oh, you can't be crying. Like if you're crying, there's no magic in the world that can turn you back into a unicorn because you're human now.
She's like actively sobbing. Ugh. God.
Yeah.
This is such a not lighthearted movie. And you would think with unicorns, it would be so lighthearted. And I mean, in a conventional fairy tale, you would think that she would save the unicorns and marry the prince. But those two endings are incompatible in the way that this has been written. Kate, did you want Amalthea to remain human, or did you feel like she had to complete the journey?
I think it was best that she completed it,
Right?
because of course maybe when Haggard died, the unicorns would be free again, but we don't really know that for sure. We don't know how long the Red Bull would, follow his desires. And so I think she had to turn back into a unicorn. I think it's really sad that now she has to live forever as with these feelings that she should have never been able to feel or experience. I think that her ending, as far as having to feel all those things, is almost more tragic than anything else because she has to go with it forever. Like she's not going to just live old or grow old and die and forget all these things. Like
She just has to live with the memories.
Yeah, forever. And the what ifs and, the regret.
Gosh. That all sounds so sad.
It is.
So she's having a lot of conflicting emotions. We're all emotionally wrung out because it's towards the end of the movie, and this is just such a hard movie, I think, to watch. It's so many different scenes. And we get Molly continuing to search the castle, and she kind of receives some crazy cryptic clues from a talking cat. Because it's a talking cat. I mean, they're not going to be straight with you either. And the group finds this secret passage guarded by a skeleton that can travel through a magical clock into the Red Bull's cavern. A lot of world building. If you haven't watched the movie, it doesn't make sense. And Molly really keeps this mission alive. She's like, I'm seeing the last unicorn, and she's not dying on my watch. So Schmendrick starts doubting himself. Amalthea lost her identity. Lear is just focused on being in love because he's a boy. And Molly is still on the unicorn situation. She is keeping up with the original mission.
Yep. And she doesn't have magical power, but she's probably like the most dependable member of the group.
Most consistent at the very least.
Like she pays attention, she asks questions, and she keeps moving while the magical characters kind of become overwhelmed. So
Yeah, and that's even with her because they didn't really talk about it other than mentioning it, but she was supposedly working really hard in the castle too. Like she was cooking,
Yep.
cleaning, she was doing everything in the castle that's related to those sort of duties, and she still found the time to, care enough and want to continue this mission. And I think that just speaks a lot to her like determination and her as a person. I thought she was definitely one of my favorites for sure for those reasons because she was really consistent even through all the hardship and hard
She
work.
was. I did love Molly from start to finish. So we
Yeah.
meet this interesting skeleton character. I find him to be quite funny. He really, really wants some wine, even though he's a skeleton and cannot drink. Love that for him. Consistency's key. And I think it's just an interesting callback to like the general illusion aspect throughout this entire movie. Everyone, like Fortuna's customers want this fake magic. Coley wants this fake legend about him. And now we have this like funky skeleton who wants to drink wine. None of it really makes sense. But he wants these like experiences and memories that he can no longer have. And inside the cavern, we see the Red Bull once again. Amalthea begs Schmendrick to let her remain human, but he transforms her back into a unicorn so she can complete the mission. And this is kind of when Schmendrick finally becomes a true magician. Not because the spell is bigger, but because he accepts responsibility for using it, which I thought was honestly so endearing and sweet and such a nice way to like sign off on him being a magician.
Agreed. Because earlier his magic worked accidentally.
Yeah.
And here he understands exactly what the transformation will cost her and what it does anyway, because it's necessary. And being powerful is not the same as giving somebody whatever they ask for.
It kind of transformation restores her body, but it definitely doesn't erase anything about what Amalthea felt or any of her memories. She's now different from every other unicorn because she carries human grief, which is so
Lucky.
unique. Poor thing.
Yeah.
And after this, we kind of see this. I mean, Lear faces off with the Red Bull, and then like we see this restored unicorn. It's frozen with fear when the bull approaches, and Lear steps between them and is killed. And seeing his sacrifice finally gives the unicorn the courage to turn and fight. There's so much happening in the ending here. I'm trying to like summarize it nicely. Lear finally performs the heroic act that actually matters, which is sacrificing himself. The earlier quest were attempts to earn love, and this time he acts without expecting something in return.
The lesson's been learned.
It only took him dying to learn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because it's even him that towards the end was like, no, Amalthea, like, this is what you need to do.
This is
Like, the
your
story
quest.
can't end here. Because I think one of my favorite lines too is like unicorns can go unrescued for a long time, but they can't go unrescued forever. And I want to say it's Lear that says that. It's either Lear or Schmendrick. But I was like, yeah, he turned into a real hero. He was this kid that lived at home and was, maybe not a hero that much. And then he really turned into one at the end. And I thought that was a really nice, even though quick character arc that he had there.
He really jumped over the arc. He made it at the last minute. Kind of makes you love him.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say the human experience did wound Amalthea, but the wound gives her this ability to save everyone else, which I think is really nice. The unicorn drives the Red Bull into the sea. The imprisoned unicorns emerge from the waves in like all these numbers. King Haggard's castle collapses, and the unicorns use her horn to restore Lear to life. Again, so much happening. Yeah. It's the return of the unicorns is beautiful. It's incredibly chaotic. Unless you've been along for the ride, there's just a ton of things going on. And they've been denied the world for so long. It's so sweet to see them return. They're all frolicking and happy looking.
Yeah.
Like a
Yes. And then Haggard loses everything because his entire kingdom was built around possession.
Yeah, womp womp.
Yeah, so once the unicorns are free, there's nothing holding his world together. And the castle collapsing, it's not subtle, but it does fit. And it really, it tells a moral, I think.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And while our unicorn does save Lear, she cannot stay with him. So the story does give us a little bit of a victory. You kind of get both happy endings, but it's still a bit more complicated than happy.
Yeah.
And the unicorn does thank Schmendrick before returning to her forest. She explains that although she's immortal again, she's now the only unicorn who understands love and regret. Oh. The ending does not say her human experience was a mistake. It kind of changed her permanently, and that change is incredibly painful for her. But it also gave her a lot of strength, which I thought was just a nice little trade-off.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And she did say to Schmendrick at the end something like that the grief or the sorrow that she feels won't live in her as long as the joy that she feels for like freeing the unicorns. And so I feel like that was a little bit of a good wrap up so that you're not so depressed and sad
Right.
Yeah.
about her forever feeling regret and grief. So that was nice, at least, that there was that little bit. Um, it was really interesting. I feel like the ending was a little abrupt, and so I did like if you read the book, I do like the ending that the book gave because it was still it just is a little bit more and so like more not adventures, but like them kind of traveling back a little
Oh, I
bit
like
versus
that.
just leaving. And so that was nice. It was so nice. I was like, I feel better, even better about it with that.
Interesting.
And like Schmendrick and Molly hoping that they see her again, but realistically, they probably won't because why would a unicorn be traveling like they are going to be? She should be in her forest, you know?
But you can always hope to see the unicorn again.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like you have to. You have to hope.
But I do think everyone kind of gets a nice little ending in the end. So, like Lear, for example, he loses Amalthea, but he does become a genuine hero. And I do think that was one of his many goals. Schmendrick does become a real musician, or not musician, magician. And Molly recovers her belief in magic. Our unicorn gets to have all of her unicorn friends back. But nearly everyone kind of finds what they were searching for. And I think it's really sweet that everyone kind of came out of it on the plus side, considering a lot of it felt so sad.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be a really heavy movie, I think. And it depends on how you view it, as with anything, but I think it definitely can be really impactful and sad. But at the same time, it kind of, for me, makes me also think and force me to think about the beauty in things. And that even if it is little tiny things, to kind of remember there is beauty there, even if you don't always see it, especially nowadays in today's times, and how heavy and terrible the world can feel. It's like you kind of have to do that, otherwise it gets too overwhelming
Absolutely.
to
Yep.
bear.
I do like
Finding
that
the
it's so
positives is
hopeful.
what we call that in therapy.
All of your spoons.
Yeah.
So we usually do some fun facts now that we've talked about the whole movie.
Fun
I know,
facts.
it's time. And I also go through the Reddit rabbit holes and I find all the fun facts I can. So one of the first ones I found. So the film is based on Peter S. Beagle's 1968 novel, which you've talked about a pretty good amount. I'm so excited to read this book. But Beagle adapted his own book for the screenplay, which I think was really interesting. So the author himself was involved. And I think that kind of explains why the dialogue retains such a literary and melancholy feeling over kind of a conventional children's cartoon. But I loved it personally.
I think it's interesting that he changed the ending up from his own book that he wrote.
I think I think he tried to fit a lot in, but I think they ended up being pressed for time. Is a lot of things were cut.
'Cause the version of the book I read, the ending itself was the same. There was just more after the ending in the book that I read. Supposedly, and I haven't been able to find it, there is an alternate ending that he wrote before everything, and not even an alternate ending per se, because it was still the same vibe, but the bull was slightly different. He was a little bit more of a literal demon, apparently. Again, this is just from a snippet and paragraphs that I read of people describing this ending, and then his original one was more abrupt, apparently. It was just it didn't have as much of that nice, well-rounded finishing it off. So I haven't been able to read it because I haven't been able to find it yet, but I haven't looked super super hard because I was trying really hard to finish the book before
Fair.
this. So I am interested in that for sure, the slight different ending of it.
Interesting.
I love that. There's so many 80s movies that have a darker ending to them that never got released. And I think it's kind of driving me a little insane. I want to see some of these darker endings.
Right.
Like The Land Before Time, another cute cartoony movie that's really sad, also had a darker alternative ending that just didn't test well in test theaters. So they just cut it and made it happy. And I want to know how much sadder that movie could have gotten realistically.
Right?
Like,
Yeah, test audiences probably ruined a lot of cinema for us, to be honest.
think of how emotionally impactful the 80s could have been.
But now we just get like straight to Netflix stuff that I feel like no one has watched, even the people who made it and the director at any point. And they're just like, yeah, I don't know, we completed something. Here you go.
There are so many things on Netflix
So
that I
many.
never knew existed,
Right?
and I've never heard a single person talk about.
No.
That's our next show.
Yes.
Weird Netflix movies.
Hey, guess what, Drew?
What?
Fun fact. This film was produced and directed by the same team that was associated with holiday specials like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Oh,
Quite a little bit of a different story than this one.
yeah.
Maybe the same more. No, it's nothing like. Except that
Another fun fact along that same vein is the same team that produced The Last Unicorn went on to then start and work under in Studio Ghibli.
That was my next fun fact.
it was.
It's like you took my notes from. No. I love that you brought it up first. So I was gonna mention the animation was completed by Japanese studio Topcraft. Topcraft ended up working on Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, which is one of my favorite movies ever. And after the studio dissolved, a lot of its artists and staff actually went over and worked at Studio Ghibli and helped with forming Studio Ghibli. So there's a large like overlap with them, which I think is awesome because I love Studio Ghibli a lot. And this is like really early days, right before they were like made.
Interesting.
Oh yeah.
It's so neat. Yeah.
All right, and
got
then
more?
another one. So the voice cast is honestly really stacked. So I mentioned Christopher Lee earlier, but Mia Farrow was also in this. Angela Lansbury was in
Murder
this movie.
She Wrote was what? No wonder there was all this. Yeah, I bet she had something to do with it.
Right? Jeff Bridges and Alan Arkin are some other like names to mention. But Christopher Lee was really invested in the original book. He voiced Hagrid in this. And then Peter S. Beagle said that Lee viewed the role as the closest he would get to playing King Lear. So he really
You take what you can get, right?
he was really into the role. Which I think that's nice. I like when the actors are like invested.
Yeah.
It makes it so much better when you can hear like the real emotion because they feel the same things or similar things to what the characters feel. Because I feel like with acting, I've heard a lot of people like actors and voice actors mention that they kind of have to get emotional sometimes or whatever the emotion is, to the point where I can't remember who it was, but I just remember hearing about an actor who played like angry roles, and it was kind of like it took a toll to get that angry and hyped up. And I think he would like run and do like intense physical workouts beforehand to like get that like intense feeling, you know. I wish I could remember who it was, but I'm terrible with names and actors and stuff.
I feel that.
usually.
I saw Matthew Lillard, one of my favorite actors. He was talking about how in SLC Punk he actually had to do something kind of similar. So he has the scene where his friend dies and he has to like kind of give a monologue afterwards. And the first like I don't know, good like 10 something takes, he couldn't get emotional. And so they all went to lunch and he sat back and he like had this conversation with his like dying father and the director. The director's like, talk to me as if I'm your dying dad. And he got him like sobbing and called everyone back from lunch and was like, all right, let's do the scene right now. So like, I think it's so crazy just like how emotionally invested the actors have to be sometimes. And whenever they really love a role or they're like really invested in the writing to the point that like they read the book and they like really know like everything that they're doing, I think is so interesting because I think it comes through significantly more. Like I think his Hagrid was really well done. I think a lot of the actors in this did a great job with the voice acting. They got the emotion to come through fantastic.
My mind instantly went to Heath Ledger,
Yeah.
you know, and like how they said like how he emotionally had to get into this state of being the Joker. And how it really kind of, I mean, there's a bunch of conspiracy theories out there too, but apparently it was really, really bad for his emotional health. So I don't know. Anyhow,
crazy to
this
think
isn't
about.
about that. It's about 8 Mile. But music. We talked about music in this movie.
Oh my goodness,
Another
yes.
fun fact. The songs were written by Jimmy Webb and performed by the band America. Yeah. This music, it contributes to this melancholy atmosphere of this movie. I think they nailed it.
They did.
think they
I
did a
mean, the
great job with
music
music.
was really spot on.
Yeah.
It felt very authentic to kind of the scenes that you would sit around watching the entire time. So,
Yeah.
do we have time for a few theories?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's run it.
Okay. So, going down the rabbit hole trying to find theories, there are interpretations rather than confirmed production facts. But one popular theory is that the Red Bull represents fear, which I think we kind of talked about a little bit already. But the way that it controlled, not simply through strength, but through frightening, and the way that he became bigger and bigger and bigger on the screen until he was all consuming was one that a lot of people really like to dig into, and people can go on a really long rant on Reddit about it.
Yes, they can. Yeah, I mean, the unicorn, it defeats it only after experiencing like an emotion that's stronger than fear, right?
Right.
And her grief over Lear's death, like it gives her a reason to stop running. So
Grief
I think
over fear.
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Another interpretation is that the bull represents Haggard's depression or emotional emptiness, and rather the only thing that makes him feel joy, other than imprisoning a bunch of unicorns, is just being absolutely feared.
Yes, yes.
So his overall encompassing need to control things is an off branch of the bull.
Oh yeah, it's like an internal problem that he lets out through external possession of other creatures. And just I think we see this like in humans too. Like no collection can ever be large enough to like fix your personality disorder.
It's never complete.
You can have all the Lambos, but you can still suck. So
Yeah.
And then lastly, this is also a story about the loss of innocence, which I think is really easily readable in this. There's so many things you can nitpick around, but Amalthea transforming and everything, after becoming Amalthea, she starts to understand sorrow as an idea, and she now knows love and fear and regret and awareness, but she could only do that by transforming out of her original body. And to transform back was to become essentially innocent again.
yeah, I agree with that one too. These
You know,
theories
like,
are all really good.
It's all pretty on par, I think.
Yeah, I'd be like, I don't have anything to add to that. That was nailed it. So
Those are great. Because yeah, the innocence ones I've heard a lot and like talked to other people about as well. Because I've made some of my friends watch the movie, but we've talked about that. Because like I kind of mentioned at the beginning too, like that's definitely the vibe I get from the unicorn when she's still in her forest, is very innocent. And then even when she transforms back into a unicorn, she's still carrying all those things that kind of caused her to lose that, even though she is now in a form again that should be. And the whole thing with like the bowl and all that, I thought that was really cool, because that would definitely explain why none of the other unicorns were able to stand up to the bowl, because they didn't have anything that could overpower that fear, which is really
Oh, yeah. I was reading these theories and I was like, wow, people have a lot more understand. Like they have critical thoughts. Wow. I'm glad that they put this on the internet for me to borrow.
yeah, going into this, I did not expect what we've talked about today.
No, I
was
expected
like, oh, cutesy unicorn movie.
Yeah, I expected some cute orchestras. I don't know why I was thinking Disney Fantasia when I
Yeah.
like first went back into this, because I couldn't remember it from when I was a kid. It's been like, I don't know, probably 20 years since I've seen the movie. So I was like, butterflies and unicorns and pretty music, and I'm gonna love like coloring while I do this. And I started watching it and I was like, I can't not pay attention. There's so many things happening. But we'll kind of wrap it up. I feel like we've said so much. What makes The Last Unicorn is that I think it's emotionally complex and yet simple. It looks like a fairy tale, but it questions the promises fairy tales often make. Love does not solve every problem. Immortality is not automatically a gift. And completing the quest does not restore everyone to where they once began. And I think that's, I know, the trauma of the quest does linger. And And I think that's a really interesting concept
Yeah, it really is.
to put to
yeah.
unicorns.
Yeah, and I think it's cool that it is vague enough, in my opinion, that people can have different perspectives on it because whatever you're dealing with in life, like I've seen so many, like on Reddit, so many different things of people comparing it to different aspects of their own life, and I think that's really cool that it is very obvious what it's talking about, but there's still so much open to interpretation in
Yeah.
it. And so I think that's really, really neat about it. It's not like you have to feel this way about this movie. This is most likely what it means, but it could mean all these other things to all these other
You just
people, which is really
Pick
neat.
what you need. Pick what
Yeah.
you need.
Yeah.
So I was born the same year this movie came out.
Oh.
Not to age myself, but I had never heard of this movie until we named jewelry after it at all. But I can understand why people who saw this when they were younger became attached to it, right? I mean, it gives like children fantasy and strange creatures, but you're also learning that growing up involves gaining and losing things at the same time. And based off of everything that happens in this movie, that unicorn had a way worse week than I did. So that's my takeaway. Could always be worse.
That unicorn went through the ringer.
Yeah.
She can do it. You can do it.
So I wouldn't say like this movie is something to put on because somebody requested like a lighthearted movie involving a unicorn and expecting rainbows. And no, you're getting something very different.
Oh, yeah. So I think it's that time where we put out our thumbs.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we give a vote.
We give a vote. We'll do 3,
Put your
2,
thumb out.
1,
Put your
and
thumb out,
then
Kate.
you vote up or down for whether you loved it or not. Which I think I know your answer.
Okay.
So
All right.
I think so.
3, 2,
2,
1. I knew that was coming.
I just don't like
knew that was
fantasy
coming.
movies.
I know.
That's all.
But you know what? Kate was the perfect reason
You
for
were,
you
yes.
to watch this because
Yeah.
I knew I would never convince him to watch this movie. So I was so excited
well,
when
I'm glad.
you were like, I'd like to do The Last Unicorn. I was like, yes, 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 we're doing it.
Yeah, I had been obsessed with it again because it like goes on and off where I'll watch it multiple times in a row and then I kind of forget about it for a year and then I'm like, oh
Coming right
yeah.
back.
And so I'm glad that I was able to talk a little bit about it. It's been really neat and really cool. And it kind of was a big reason I read the book too because I had already gotten it, but I hadn't started it yet. And so when I messaged you guys about this, I was like, oh, let me read the book. I want to see what's different about it.
Yeah.
And so it was worth it. for
I'm so glad
sure.
you did. It's on my TBR now because of you. So I hope you know you've contributed.
Well, let me know when you do read it. I'd love to hear your
Most def.
thoughts about some of the extras because that's all that it gives you is just extra everything.
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear more about Schmendrick.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
That's why I left it kind of vague. I was like, I know you said you wanted to
Oh,
read
you
it.
you could have spoiled it. I'd forget by the time I got there.
True.
Well, thank you, Kate, for joining us
Yes,
today.
thank you so
and
much.
thank you to everyone watching. Let us know what The Last Unicorn meant to you and whether you see the ending as hopeful, tragic, or somewhere in between.
Mm-hmm.
And let us know if you made the 8 Mile connection that Brian made.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's further expand
Let's talk more
on
about that
that.
8 Mile connection down in the comments, right? Like you don't have to agree. You just have to acknowledge that I successfully made a connection. So that's all.
Alrighty. Well, we'll see you next time.
Yes,
Well,
thank
thank you,
you.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow.
What has happened to
That
our
was wild.
background?
Our background has gotten
gone.
wild. Yeah.
Oh, well.
You know, it's all right. We still look good.
Yeah, technology does its own thing.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Technology was doing weird things with her voice
Oh my
on
God,
that
I know.
halfway through. All of a sudden was just like, I don't know, here's an echo for you.
She's like, here's some.
I'll edit it in post, right?
Totally.
So yeah, The Last Unicorn, awesome movie.
So much fun.
Yeah, totally wild. And we made some really cool unicorn jewelry because why not? Everyone loves unicorns,
I
right?
mean, yeah. Who doesn't love unicorns?
Yeah. So yeah, solid 14 karat gold threadless ends. They're super cute. These guys are like what, 4 mil, 5 mil, something like that. They're pretty tiny.
If that.
They're super cute though.
I love this side profile. You get the little like curly haired mane. It's perfect.
Yeah. You know,
If you look really close, you can see a little like eyelash because unicorns are just so gorgeous like that.
yeah. I wanted it to kind of look like it was like made out of marshmallow or something. Like it's kind of fluffy under the hair.
Succeeded.
Thank you. If you're one of our wholesale customers this week, you can save 10% off as many of those unicorn ends as you want using that coupon code WIZARDS. So
Stock
hit
up.
up the website, get that, you know,
Get The Last Unicorn.
yeah. or the second unicorn,
Or the third. Whichever one.
I don't know. We have a bunch in stock.
Yeah, you can adopt whichever one you want.
It's fine.
Make a choice.
Yeah. If you ain't first, you're last, so. And the first one's already been gone. So technically, they're all the last unicorn by that logic.
There you go. Shake a bake.
And I helped.
I don't think we're going to get much funnier than that, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, bye.